be playing an exciting game. It's an old game. Came out in 2015 in October of that year, but you know, 3 years later, I'd still say this game's got some good merit and is worth taking a look at. So today, we're going to be playing this game where we're pretty much going to be some colonists landing on what I'm going to call Mars. We're going to, you know, it's whatever planet it feels like being called. So we're going to go ahead and hop into a new game. It's going to be kind of a teaching series slash learning the game, trying to progress. As you can see, I have some milestones. I've played the game a bit. I kind of know what I'm doing. Hopefully we don't die right away. It's very easy to die in this game. I've already had to do one restart at the time of this recording, but again, we'll just try and get through it. It'll be a little bit hectic. There's not going to be a lot of room for me to slow down necessarily in the beginning because I have to get certain objectives done. Now let's right now, as you can see, I'm rotating the planet, trying to find a good landing spot here for my guys. I'm not quite sure what to go for. I think this spot might be okay. What are we going to name our base? Well, let's just, I'm from the United States, so obviously we're NASA. We could be Home 1, as a reference to Star Wars. That'll be that's my method anyway of developing it. So we got some wind coming through here. Maybe over here, actually, might be even better. I'm not too sure. Doing my best here to see what's a good plan. But anyway, let's start the game. Let's launch. So again, gonna do my best to make everything as simple as possible. I'm not sure if we'll be able to get to the more advanced stuff later on, but again, we're gonna do our best here. And with that, here's the only cutscene in the game. Alright, well, that was the cutscene. So, first thing you want to do is recycle your pod. You don't need that, it's garbage, it's dumb, whatever. Step 1, you want to take your oxygen building and you're going to want to build it up above, and then directly across from that you want to make your power structures. Right, so we're going to have this top layer of power structures, and you can see this is where we'll expand to. Yeah, we can expand that way. We'll also be expanding around here. Lots of room for expansion. So, really quickly, you got to do this part super fast, and that's why I'm not gonna necessarily. Yeah. Let's do the. We need to get power. We need to get water. We need to make sure we're getting a battery so we can collect the power. And then we need to also make sure that that's the battery. Yeah, that's the power battery. Oh yeah, and then we need to get a wind turbine so we can have power being collected at night. All right, you see this? This is gonna be the essentials. In a nutshell. Alright, we have the essentials. Now we can come over here, and as soon as this oxygen thing gets power, we'll be able to go ahead and build. It should have power. Why aren't you getting enough power? Okay, so it's slowly getting there. We want to make a building, make an access into there as quickly as possible. We're going to want to make a processing plant. We're going to go essentially straight. And then we're also, because we need to make sure our, nope, not that one. We want to make sure our guys can get inside of the base, so we're also going to make an airlock for them right there. And then I'm just going kind of fast, so that way I can make sure we get through it all. Then we'll have a mine, so we can start collecting metal to get for our processing plant. Oh, I'm going to move it up to ×4 speed, so they build really quickly. So we shouldn't die from lack of power, lack of oxygen, because we have our necessary things right now. So the next step that we're going to want to do is we're going to go ahead and, yep, as you can see, the oxygen is filling up. Good. Now our people, once the airlock is built, we'll be able to go inside. Next thing we're going to want to do, in my opinion, just based on having played the game for a little bit, is we're going to want to build our storage. Right, I like to build the storage up against the processing plant. And then we're also going to need, well, of course, we're going to need to, here. We'll throw in a metal production. You got to make sure you get that quick, because if you don't do it, then you spend too many resources, you won't be able to make more metal. So another thing we really need, we're going to make the biggest biodome we can. We're going to put it right up against the oxygen. It's very important. Actually, no, I'm sorry. We don't want to do that. We don't want to do that. We want to put the canteen. I mixed them up. We can do the smallest canteen. We want the canteen next to the oxygen maker, and we want to have our dorms where people can sleep right up against the oxygen maker. These two rooms, the canteen and the dorms, use the most amount of oxygen in the game. So you want to make sure that you're, you're not... Okay. Yeah, that's fine. All right, so then I like to put this... it can go kind of either way, how you set this up. But nothing's going to be perfect. Essentially, you generally want to have the storage close, but this should be okay. I don't think anything too horrible will happen. And then you want to have your bio lab, which is a place where we make plants to grow food. So obviously we need to get food right there. All right. And what's next on the list of stuff? Well, essentially we're just now gonna wait. We're gonna chill. Oh, we do need to get a landing pad so that way we can collect more colonists. So that's part of the game, of course. Collecting the people who will be helping you. So in the canteen, we're gonna come over here. We're gonna make a meal processor. We're gonna get a table so people can sit down to eat. We need to make a water fountain so they can drink at it, and we need to make a TV so they can feel entertained. All right? So again, very important that they get that stuff built as quick as possible. Over here in the dorm, we're going to make some beds. We're just going to start it off with 2 beds right now. We don't need more at the moment. And we have the medium storage working just fine. Don't need to put anything in there. And it'll be critical for them to get that water fountain up. Now, I have no control over these little guys, so what they choose to get done is what they choose to get done. Again, I really hope that they get their water situated. I'm going to go ahead and get a water storage container. A lot of people don't really do this in the beginning, but I'm just going to get like a nice big water storage container to make sure that that everything's well self-sustained. Now, we are running out of metal. That's again why I'm going to set the priority on that. All right. And now that we have a landing pad, we are immediately going to change the permissions, turn off economic trade coming in, and we're going to get workers. We want to get that metal going as soon as possible. It'd just be, crazy pumping out of the metal. Crazy pumping out of the metal. That'll be critical. So again, now that we have the water fountain, hopefully people will get the smarts to drink some water. I don't know for sure if they'll do it. They should be though. We have the water to do that. Yep, see that guy's drinking up water, and they'll pretty much take care of themselves. They're not dumb. They know how to get things done. So as you can see, we're gonna have workers who are gonna start making things, and eventually we'll start getting more colonists, which will be really good. Now this biodome, it came up a bit late. Unfortunately, we were a bit slow on getting our biodome constructed. But as soon as we get that connection, we're going to go ahead and get our biologists working on making some plants. Now, I like using an interesting ratio of having, you have starch, and I'll get to starch in a second. You have starch, and then you also have your food-producing buildings. So we're going to get a good amount of those. Excellent, excellent. We're going to get a medical plant, because that's how you make medical supplies, and then one more starchy thing. About 8 plants. So 4 red, 3 gray, and 1 white. So that we have a good balanced mix. And again, everyone is going to be bringing in supplies into the base. Once all of this stuff out here is brought into the storage unit, we won't have to worry too much about people necessarily having to do such a long walk to get things done. Because right now things are a bit slow because of the way the base is designed. But don't worry, it'll be okay. We have plenty of room for expansion this way. In hindsight, I probably should have swapped these buildings, but it'll be okay. I'm not too concerned about it. And yeah, this is kind of our base. We're just gonna kind of relax here. Again, we wanna wait for our colonists us to get some more colonists. But we do need to get those get some stuff up and operational, ready to go as soon as we can. All right. Oh, I actually should put a plant in here also, so people have a little something to stare at, something beautiful. Because the people want to get things done. So in the processing plant, now that we have a little more of an understanding, now that we have stuff secure, we're going to be making bioplastic, and we're going to be making metal. I prioritize metal first because it's much easier to get bioplastic than metal. However, both are extremely important. And I noticed that this robot guy has taken some damage for whatever reason. He's worked too hard. He's been doing his best, and now he's really tired. And the best way to repair him is to use these things called spares. Spares are really important, not as needed as in the early game, but still very critical. They allow us to keep everything running. Now, unfortunately, we're being a little slow on our collection of things. I don't know why we don't have our workers necessarily doing stuff. Now, if you noticed, I've stopped building buildings. I've stopped creating structures so that we can prioritize, you know, the mining of resources. Now, we only have 3 workers, in all fairness. We do want to get these workers coming in as quick as we can. Not sure why it's taking them so long. I do think it's because we need to make this this thing here that allows us to build. And it also is in part because people are transporting things. When people are transporting things, they're less inclined to necessarily get in everything we need to get done. Now we do have the biologists in here making food for us, so that's pretty good. Now we will want to connect these up eventually. I'm gonna set that up now, but they won't work on that for a little while. Again, I'm also gonna put some high prioritization on the construction of our metal, and we're probably just gonna leave that as it is. And as you can see, our workers are, in fact, they're really just kind of not doing stuff. Like the blue guys are the workers. They seem to be focused on carrying. I suppose maybe it's a lack of food, which would be a fair criticism, I'd say. If you know, if you're trying to survive and you're like, hey, we don't have any food, that'd be pretty rough. Pretty darn rough. Let's see. So yes, we need them to make metal. I don't know why they're not making metal. That's the only thing I've prioritized. Again, I think it's partly because of all the materials out here. You know, we have everything that we need for a basic base in order to be, you know, sustainable and successful and all that. All that good stuff. So that's not the main issue. So this is kind of a bit of a slow period. The beginning can be a bit slow. Because again, we have a perfect amount of you know, balance. We have the perfect balance for a good base. And I'll talk about expanding later. We just haven't gotten any, you know, but the problem is we don't have any workers. What's my standing? I need to see something. Why is my status? We need to have, because we can't get people if we don't have a good status, but we're not, I don't know, it's just not working out. Maybe I didn't build fast enough. That's the thing. If you don't build fast enough in this game in the beginning, it can kind of just screw you over. Because we have bad welfare right now, which means people aren't necessarily interested in showing up, even if we very, very badly need to get workers in here. Because we still have just the basic guys. We're going into our second night, or first night cycle, I'm not too sure, with no people. So that's a bit concerning. Oh, you know what? And I mean, we have carrier bots carrying it. I just don't know what the workers are doing. I think it's just because, again, because they're going out and collecting supplies. Which makes me think, this game's very old, so it is possible that there could be some bugs. They should be, like, are they still making? Yeah, we have a worker who's constantly making stuff. We just need to have that getting done. I'm going to take off the prioritization of those. If you go over to the materials tab, yeah, we have 12 resources. Let's not worry about prioritizing the metal anymore. Let's just focus on having them make metal. Because we need them to make metal in order to be able to make these buildings. Otherwise, they won't necessarily be getting everything done they need to get done. We only have 3 workers. Everyone can carry things. All of our space astronauts, all of them can carry. And our storage isn't even filling up that much. I mean, we have good meals. I mean, our food is okay. Like, in all honesty, we're doing just fine on food. I mean, could use more biologists. Which is, again, why it's going so slow. I don't know. Normally, in my past experience playing the game, it's gone a bit faster. The only reason I'm committing metal to making water stuff is just because I want to make sure that. Oh, self-sufficiency reached. Oh, okay. We made the thing that gave us self-sufficiency. Let me look at our standing now. Are people gonna come into the base? Yes. Oh, thank goodness. The Let's Play is saved, everyone, because workers are coming in slowly, but they're coming in. So now we'll be able to start ramping it up. Okay. Now here's the cool part. It's gonna come in. Again, no expansion yet. We're not doing that. We're just kind of hoping for more colonists. Okay. Yeah. We needed that one building. Oh, I forgot about it. So you need to be able to, essentially in order to get self-sufficiency, you need to be able to create the 2 raw materials that are in the game, which is metal and bioplastic. Metal is going to be this blue stuff right here, and bioplastic is this stuff. How do you make them? Well, you need to collect ore, which you get from mines, and you need to get starch, which you collect from the certain plants. Now again, I'm going to be going kind of hardcore on the metal and starch production, or well, metal and bioplastic production, which comes from the ore and the starch. But I made this connection here so people can walk through a bit faster, because it's all about making everyone have the shortest travel distance possible. This base is pretty well compact. Again, now that we're starting to get some metal, you'll see. Let's see now the construction bot. He's taking some metal out to make our water tank. Now, when we want to think about expanding more and more, we're going to want to also be increasing our power and our water as well. So it'll be very important that we make sure that we have a good amount of solar panels and wind turbines to help us get through the nights when we aren't collecting as much. Oh no, and this bot has gone down. You lose bots pretty quick in this game. I'm not too concerned about us losing our robots, because they die, it happens. We can make more. It'll be a long time until we make more bots, but we can certainly make more. Now, an engineer can always repair the bot, but we only have one engineer, so keep that in mind. The engineer will probably end up... Yeah, the engineer made this connection, which will allow better oxygen flow as well, because we want to have good oxygen circulation. And this is really just a really cool balancing game, in my opinion. I think it's very fun. Now, hopefully, we'll be able to get more workers. How's our standing? Decent. Okay, good. Oh, it went up to good. I don't know if you saw that. Here, I'll show you. It went up to good. We have an excellent standing. Yes! Thank you. Yeah, because now we have a water tower. Probably bigger than I needed, but pretty good. Now we won't have to think about... Now we can focus on producing water rather than necessarily... Man, these plants are struggling. Maybe we need more biologists. Okay, let's see how many workers we get. Then we can maybe make them just one worker. We need to get more workers, so we're making more of those raw materials. Once you have a good, healthy amount of workers, again, the way that I know that I use to judge it personally anyway, is I look at my amount. I want to have up to 7 workers. 7 workers, and then we go all out on biologists. Then we just want biologists. And then we turn into a more default mix where we get a more healthy balance of everyone. I'll be using the default numbers after we get those extra starting guys who collect the resources. Workers? Okay, so workers are the only ones who can make the manufactured goods. Biologists are the only ones who can make, collect our plants, get our food going. But we also need workers to collect ore. So workers have kind of a bit more responsibility than biologists. That's why you want to get those workers first, in my opinion. I think that's how you should do it. Now you'll notice that we do have some medical supplies being built up. When people get hurt in the mine, that's when we expand to a medical facility. We're not gonna get a med bay until we see people getting hurt. When I see people get hurt, then we go for it. And you'll see, yes, the plants are suffering. I know. But again, that's why if you come over here, we always want to maintain and take a look at our status. So yes, we're slow. Our prestige is not very good. Again, whenever we get excellent, they'll come in. Oh, look at that, 3 workers. Okay, that's a bit much, more than I expected us to get. So we're gonna go ahead and go over and we're gonna all out on the biologists. And then once we get to the healthy number of biologists, I think that's when I'll call it a good capping point for that first episode. So again, no one's gotten hurt yet, and it's all we're just maintaining. And then here's the fun part: is once we get a lot of resources. Oh, we're gonna turn the priority back on. That once we get a lot of resources, we'll then be able to expand and really make sure our colony can grow. Because here's the thing: we definitely are gonna need more beds, and I'm gonna go ahead and preemptively make more beds. It costs 1 bioplastic for each bed, pretty much 1 bioplastic for most things, but if our colony is going to expand, because every guy claims a bed, we want to make sure that we do that. So I'm committing all 4 of my bioplastic to making beds so we can further our production. Again, keep in mind, biologists are the next thing that's going to come in, so as long as people are sleeping well, see, we're out of bioplastic, but that's okay, because ideally our workers, should be making that stuff. They should be processing materials. Now, again, because we don't have the biologists, we're not getting the plant production up. So everything will just be slow. Oh, we got some biologists. Give me more than 1. Oh yeah, we got 2. Excellent. Biologists will definitely be helped out. Oh, and as you can see, a man got hurt. And let me take a look at the biologist count. All right, it's going pretty strong. So yeah, we're gonna get a sick bay. Sick bay is pretty important. We do need to get a bioplastic to make it work out, though. Let me think about where to put this. Oh, we can actually extend it off of the storage here, which is the better option, because we do want to make sure that the medical facility is right next to the storage. Because that way you can collect the medical supplies really easily. And see, that'll just give our guys something to do. Let me make sure it's on ×4 speed there. Again, we just got a starch, so now hopefully we should have a worker who goes ahead and makes our bioplastic for us. Because we do need bioplastic. It's very important we get that. What are the workers doing? Oh, they're sleeping. Oh, okay. So they're sleeping. That's fair. And you'll notice during the nighttime, that's when I like to check my power supply, check on water, make sure we're okay. When we build this medical facility, that'll hurt some of our power. Alright, so there's a sandstorm. When there's a sandstorm, everyone moves slowly outside. No harm. Nothing bad happens, but it does kind of suck. Now you notice now we have a guy who's making bioplastic. As soon as we get the bioplastic, we'll be able to get it committed there. We need 2 bioplastic to make our medical facility. And now we kind of wait. Again, early game, it's a lot of waiting. That dude, okay, so let me talk a little bit about when people get hurt. So when people get hurt like him, he doesn't stop walking around and stuff. He just can't do his job. So he's essentially a dead weight to us. He's not helping anyone. You know, we essentially would be better off if we killed him and got a new guy. It's pretty much how that works. Now you'll notice, again, plants are having trouble. Because if they're not repaired well, they're going to produce food a lot slower, which is really not the best thing. Which is why biologists exist pretty much to repair things. Biologists does their job to repair the plants, make them better. Which I know, repairing plants probably sounds weird. And as soon as the sandstorm would go away... Oh, sorry, the speed went down. If you can't always have it at ×4 speed forever for some reason. And as you can see, daytime is coming up now, see, it's part of that ×4 speed, so hopefully now we'll be a bit more efficient. You'll notice also that the airlock gets a bit clogged up. We're going to want to get another airlock. Not right now, but we will want to get another airlock so people can go in and out of our base a little bit faster. We just can't afford to do something like that right now. You'll notice our spares are going down. The spares are the next thing we want to do after our medical facility has been taken care of. Got 1 more biologist? Oh man, we're having trouble. We just need 2 more biologists, and then we'll be at a fairly safe level. Again, we got to get that bioplastic, so that's a really important thing we need to get done. Which means we need starch, which means which is why I focused on biologists. So now we're going to be making starch at a much faster, or we should be making it at a much faster rate. Yeah, we have 2 guys with broken bones. Not good. That'll seriously hurt our production of everything. Like everything we make is going to go down. And I'm not saying I'm upset that we're making metal. We're doing great on the metal. I just would wish that we would also, you know, get 1 more bioplastic so we can make that, which is why you don't want to build too quickly also. Now in the meantime, well, I don't know if I want to commit. We want to think about expanding our power, because while we're fine, we're sustainable, we'll be okay. This won't last forever. So we got to think about it. Like, you'll notice how our water is not really, well actually I think it is filled up. Oh, never mind. I guess it is filled up. Yep. So everyone's going to go to their beds. Cool thing, we can also look at our total population count. We have 15 people, so that means we have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 beds. So not everyone can sleep, but not everyone sleeps at the same time, though. So that's also something to think about. Oh, okay, we got to call in a shift. Let's see if we got 2. We got 1. I guess that could be okay. Because we're going to want to get that facility up. Because I want to switch back over to workers, essentially, so we can get more stuff done, especially since we've been having so many problems with our medical facilities not being built. Again, we have 3 starch now, so we should have people making some stuff. Maybe we'll take off the prioritization. Yeah, let's deprioritize that. Because we don't need ore. We have 16 metal. We're just collecting up metal like no problem. But what we really need to do is... Oh, shit. We lost... Oh, who'd we lose? I think it was a biologist. Wait, no, that wasn't a biologist. Wait, was it? Oh, we lost our engineer. Oh, crap. Okay, we need engineers. That happens sometimes. Meteors hit. That was the first time I was hit by I've been hit by a meteor in a while. Okay, so I think that's a good place to end it. We'll end it in a dramatic thing. Oh my god, what happens next? Honestly, that might have killed us, so we'll see. Anyway, guys, I'm Elwirfy. Thank you all so much for watching. And as always, I'll see you guys next time.